See all of the fishing boats down there? It's a ton of them joints. They're always out there every Saturday morning. It's always a bunch of fishing boats. What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I actually just missed my train, but it'll be another one coming by in less than 10 minutes. But that gives me some time to really get my thoughts out, right? And I got to do a dentist appointment today, but I always like to vlog, so I give you guys my authentic thoughts on a daily basis. And I'm headed over to my car, but I see people so distracted by the things that's not meaningful. And it always seems like, from a cultural perspective, even from a Western cultural perspective, that people are easily distracted, and the things that's the most meaningful to them is the things that don't matter, right? Even when you think about our presidential election that's coming up in 2024, the things that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are advocating for, and the message that they're carrying around to the people, is abortion laws. Abortion laws. Now, I happen to think that the things that's most meaningful to people, or the things that's most impactful to people today, is four things, right? The first thing is always going to be immigration, because our borders is wide open and you can't protect the country if you can't even prevent people that's not supposed to be here from being here. I'm not against migration into this country, but I am all for doing it the right way and doing it legally. And it's even people that came over here and wind up, becoming citizens of the United States of America. They don't even agree with what's going on. And so you never see the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, who is supposed to be the border czar, you never see these people ever having these conversations and having uncomfortable conversations about why they're leaving the border open, in addition to the idea of flying in 376,000 migrants from other countries nobody can account for. You never see them ever have a conversation about why we're not protecting our borders. And that's not even a liberal or a conservative, Republican versus Democrat issue. That's just something that's already on the books. We're supposed to be protecting our borders, but that's the thing that people don't want to have a conversation about, and we vote based off of party, across party lines, identity politics, and we're easily distracted, and this is why it's so easy for them to advocate for, have a conversation about something like abortion, when in reality, that's something that's controllable. You can control, we have individual control over whether or not we even want to get a woman pregnant in the first place. But we're having conversations about abortion, and that's the way that you're going to vote? It's insane to me. The second thing that people are really, really concerned about is their ability to be able to feed themselves. Inflation, cost of living. You got a raise this year, or you're making more money than you ever made before, and they keep saying that the unemployment numbers are super low, but how come your lifestyle is worse? And some of it is self-inflicted wounds. Some of it is your spending habits. But the dollar every single year doesn't go as far as it goes. And you know, the funniest thing about this whole conversation is that when I look at the popularity of my channels in particular, right? I got multiple different channels. I'm gonna just name three: the Millionaire Morning Show, Anton Daniels channel, and After Hours, right? The Millionaire Morning Show, where we break down politics, money, business, crime, immigration, everything that's happening all across the board, is probably one of the least popular channels as far as views, even though I talk about the things that's the most meaningful. So then when I hear people come to me and they say, well, Anton, how come you don't talk about it? I do. You're not tapped into that channel. You only tapped into the bullshit. See, y'all want to argue about race. You want to argue about, identity politics and all of this other bullshit. Here come my train over there. You see it? They want to argue about all of the things that's not meaningful, and that's not going to affect you in your daily life. But what you don't realize is that there's a class war. There's a class war that's happening. It's not a race war. It's not any of that other bullshit. That's the stuff that keeps you distracted. It's absolutely, positively a class war that's happening, and y'all not really paying attention because you're not really in the loop, and it's not something that's meaningful to you. The next biggest thing that people are concerned about is homelessness. And people trying to make it seem like homelessness is not really a thing. It's a big thing. So much so to where we've now changed the narrative of what homelessness looks like, right? They got van life. Somebody stealing your house is crazy. Van life. Think about it. And then it's not even as financially or fiscally as responsible as people try to make it out to be. Because you got to remember, there's maintenance, breakdowns. Like if you research any of these real videos where people is showcasing you and highlighting exactly what it takes in order to live van life, you'll realize that the cost is sometimes just as similar, if not more, than what it costs to just get a regular crib if you can get one in a reasonable space. Now, again, there is some self-inflicted wounds here in that there's a lot of people that refuse to move away from some of these big cities, and they're not really making sure that they make the right decisions as far as what affordability looks like. And they want to live in New York and California where they're being overtaxed. But you got to remember, a lot of those same states, New York and California, it's a lot of homelessness, especially in California, which then falls back on the taxpayers, which then takes money out of government coffers that's supposed to be built to help us and help build infrastructure and stuff like that. But instead, we spending it on stuff that really don't matter or that we not supposed to. Van life, ladies and gentlemen. And then they basically got y'all living in shelters, tiny homes. And then we can go back over into the migrant crisis because government bodies are spending an extraordinary amount of money housing and putting in hotels for migrants and hundreds of millions of dollars every month. But then at the same time, again, it's not conducive for the American people. And so they're not addressing any of these issues. Let me tell you about the last one. The last one that people are concerned about, which is why the relationship topics is always going to be important, is the gender war. Now, you can remix that and say relationships. You can remix that and say, marriage, divorce, all of that. But anything related to relationships, men and women, men with men, women with women, the different agendas that's being pushed inside of our schools and these indoctrination camps that we call college, people want companionship. You're going to need companionship in even order to be able to survive. You got the 50-50 debate. But more importantly, let me tell you about the thing that I think is the most meaningful in the conversation. The fact that people keep having children out of wedlock. Now, you know where I stand on this if you've been at this channel for any period of time. But at the same time, you can say it's the man's fault, the woman's fault. I have a position on it. But what I'm telling you is that it's meaningful. It's absolutely meaningful. Because then it's the residual effects. It's the after effects. It's the fact that people are continuing to have children out of wedlock, which then we know what the statistics are, or the probability of you being interdependent on somebody else, needing therapy, going to jail, all of that stuff, right? But we continue to do it and then blame it on somebody else and then think that it's the government's fault to fix our issues. Your kids can't even go to school because their parents is messed up. And they created an environment that's not gonna be best. Even if the other kids are raised in a two-parent household, they can't even study right because you over there and you got your children messed up and the streets is raising them, and now teachers become overglorified babysitters. So many issues, so many problems within these communities, but we don't really want to tell the truth. We don't really want to have a real conversation. And so we keep skirting the issue and pretending like it ain't a problem. Been a problem. 4 main things that's important. And we can deep dive into each subject a lot deeper, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to touch the surface level and give my thoughts because I've been really, really paying attention and in tune with what's happening out here. And so I see it. I see it affecting everybody. Migration into this country or illegal immigration into this country, relationships, how much money you making, whether your dollar go far enough, and eventually a lot of people are gonna be going homeless. That's just the reality. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. I got Stock Club tomorrow. And then I got a video that's being released that's gonna be super incredible this upcoming week. But make sure y'all tap into the Patreon, link is in the description. And then make sure that y'all focused, man. Stop being distracted by things that don't mean nothing from people that don't got your best interest at heart. Start being focused. And also, in addition to having these entertaining conversations about the shit that don't mean nothing, spend just as much time on the stuff that do mean something. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.